Hey sister friends, I'm back with another video, and today's video, if you can tell from the title, is all about how to pick a good man. Look, if you're interested in finding out how you can pick a good man, if you've been picking some losers, some bad apples, some just straight up duds, and you want to pick some heroes, not no zeros, then stay tuned. This video is going to be packed with some information that you need to know. Talking about how to pick a good man. Now let's be honest, picking any type of good partner is a little bit challenging. There's several factors that go into picking a partner. There's you, there's the other person, and there's the life you want to live. Those three things have to converge together, and because there are so many different people, we have so many different traits, characteristics, ways of doing life, it can be very hard to find the one that we want to be with. But when we're talking about partnership, I'm going to give you some guidelines and some rules that I think are very helpful. I'm going to go right out and say this. I do not believe in soulmate. I do not believe in the idea of the one. I feel that there just can't be a soulmate. There can't be the one. I'm a Christian. For me, that's not a biblical principle that I see in the word. But what there is good, wise decision making. There is a choosing. I think we sleep on the power of deciding. And when you are looking for a partner, when you are making yourself available to be partnered with, you have the power to choose. How mighty and how wonderful and fantastic is that? And so today I want to share some guidelines. I've been married, it'll be 7 years in September. I've been with my husband for 10 years at this point, and it has been a journey. I've acquired a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and I'm still on my way, so I thank God for that. And out of all of that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, I'm sharing my information with you, and my hope and desire is that you take something that I say, it empowers you, it just lights you up, it sparks something new in you, and then you feel like, yeah, I got this, I'm gonna kill this, I'm gonna get out here and get me a nice good man, all right? Listen, it's no secret that sometimes picking a good man to be with for marriage or for an extended period of time, I guess, can be challenging. You know, there are a lot of people in the world and we all differ in many different ways. But if we can follow a basic set of guidelines and a basic set of understandings, that's what I'm big on, is understanding. If you could understand why these guidelines are the most beneficial ones, and then base your decision making, your choosing, the permission you give to another person to pursue you based on those understandings, I think it'll help you to pick someone who you are excited about and who is going to be great to you and who you're going to have a good time getting to know. Okay, so I'm going to talk about it. Here we go. So the first thing that is important when you are picking a man who you want to marry, let's just make that the ideal version of why we're picking a man, is because we want to marry him. But even if you're just dating or you're courting or you're just entertaining people, the first thing is you want to have a foundation. You need to have a foundational idea of what your ideal partner looks like to you. Okay, for me as a Christian, it is the Bible. If you're not a Christian, that's okay. You have whatever foundational belief or understanding that you use to determine your partnerships in this life, okay? And so you must have that foundation though. A lot of us sometimes when we're dating or when we're still figuring ourselves out in life, we lose our foundations or belief systems change. All that stuff can make us more open, if you will, to various different types of ideas and individuals. And in theory, that is a great thing, and it's cool that you are open to different people. But when you are looking for someone who you want to partner with for life, as a spouse, as a husband, you need to have very clear and very defined foundational beliefs. And so looking to the Bible for that, you know that you're going to need someone who is a man who also loves God, who believes in God. You're going to need a partner who is loyal, because that's what God calls people to be, loyal. You're going to need someone to be who is kind and thoughtful and generous and not evil-minded and all the things that the Bible details, okay? That is a foundational understanding of what the person I want to be with has to be like or has to have, okay? That's just number one. And think about it like this. At the very least, anything that we build in life that's worth building, whether it's a skyscraper, a house, whether you're building a business, whether you're creating a car, all of those items have foundational elements that without a frame, a car will not be drivable. Without beams, a building cannot stand. Without a concrete foundation, a house cannot stand. And so you need a foundation. It's just a principle of life. It has nothing to do with whether you're a Muslim, you're Christian, you're agnostic, you're Baha'i, you're Buddhist. It doesn't matter. A foundation, having something that is foundationally understood, is a universal principle. So you need a foundational understanding of who you want your person to be. Number 2, you want to look for a man with integrity. Now, I was taught this. I went to a Christian prep school in middle school, and we had chapel every Wednesday. We would have chapel. And eventually, the pastor who used to come in and do our chapel became our family's pastor. We started attending that church, and it's a great church. And one of the things I will never forget that he taught us in chapel was, he said, integrity is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are the same thing. When you are looking for a man, when you're picking a man who you're going to give your time to, you want to look for a man who has integrity, who what he thinks, what he says, and what he does are the same thing. When we think about the relationships that go awry, whether it be in television, in our own lives, you know, in our friends' lives, it's because the fella likely said one thing but did another, or did one thing but said another. And that's just not something we want in our life. You want someone who is thorough, who's truthful, who is safe, because being together, making sure that you have what you think, you say, and what you do all one thing, that means there's a healthy level of sanity there. That means you're likely a safe person, likely going to be trustworthy, likely not going to be dishonest, or if you do something that's unsavory or that I'll dislike, you're likely going to have a heart or desire to come clean about it. You understand what I'm saying? So you want to look for someone with integrity. What they think, what they say, and what they do have to be the same thing. How do you assess that? You assess that by watching people. There was a YouTuber, I can't think of her name, but she said dating is data collection. Why do you think dating is why is that the word we use? It's data collection. Before you give your heart to a person, before you give your body to a person, before you give a lot of your time to a person, you should be collecting data that what they think, that what they say, and what they do are the same thing. And you should see it, I would say, at least 3 times. And so that means you might have to give several weeks or even a couple of months to just kind of casually observing this individual, but you want to be mindful of their level of integrity, okay? The third thing you want to look for in a good man or an ideal person is character. And I like to define character as, there are elements of character, but one of the things I really want to touch on observing in someone's character, how to observe someone's character, is their response. Are they responsive or are they a reactive person? So here's the difference. When someone gets offended and they get angry and they throw a glass at the wall and the glass shatters on the floor and breaks and they storm out the room, that's someone who is reacting. But if someone is offended, someone gets offended and they take a beat and they decide, this is how I'm going to address it. I want to speak to your manager, or I don't know, whatever the scenario is. They handle it with maturity. They handle it verbally, and they can be assertive. They can be stern, and they can be upset, but they handle it responsibly. That is being responsive. And so when you're observing a man's character, you want to note if he is reactive or responsive. A reactive man is a little bit of a hothead. Every person who's reactive is not mean or abusive or beats women, or, he's not a crazy person. He just might have that might be the only way he knows how to handle those emotions. And so you need to have your foundational understanding of what you believe is a partner to help you decipher or determine how you'll assess that for your own life. But if they are responsive, then you've got a good candidate, because they know how to handle offensive or distasteful experiences maturely. And that's going to be very important, because for the rest of the life, till the day we die, we're going to be on this earth with other human beings, and they are going to do things that we dislike. They are going to do things that offend us and hurt us, and it's just life. It's just life. So you want to make sure that you have a partner partner who knows how to handle those situations maturely and handle them to the best of their ability. The other thing about character is you want to pay attention to how the person responds to you when you offend them, or when you say something they don't like, or when you do something they don't like. Are they someone who begins to verbally attack you? Do they lash out physically? Do they isolate themselves and get very quiet and pull away and begin to play that emotional game where it's like that cat and mouse, and now you're hunting them down like, oh my gosh, what did I say? What did I do? All that craziness. You want to be very attentive to that, because someone who's exhibiting those behaviors and characteristics, you've got a rough road ahead of you. And as a woman, our hearts are so tender, are so valuable, because we're just, I truly believe we're just designed by God to just have these beautiful hearts that are loving and open and generous, right? And so when you have someone who's emotionally isolating or abusive, or just exhibits those bad negative characteristics, it can be very hurtful. It can cause stress, which is going to cause stress eating, weight gain, skin breaking out, emotional crying, all the things that you're just not going to be in a good place. And you don't have to not be in a good place. But some of us have been surrounded so much by these types of relationships, these types of people, that we think, oh, that's just people, we'll get with it, that's just how it is, do it, that's what it is. And it's not what it is. You can pick better, and this is how you do it. You need to pay attention to that. And typically early on in relationships, if you're giving a man about 90 days of your time, of your interest, you'll have an opportunity to see how he responds if you do something that he doesn't like. With maybe you say something he doesn't like, or you wear something, or I don't know, whatever. You'll have a way to see how he responds. A healthy, good man is going to respond and say, hey babe, blah, blah. He's going to be gentle, he's going to be kind about it, he's going to be forgiving about it. You'll almost be like, so do you have a problem with it or not? Because he'll be so kind about it, but he'll be clear that, hey, maybe next time, I prefer, or this is what I'd like. And that's mature, and that's perfectly fine, okay? And additionally, with the character piece, you want to pay attention to how they are with money, because money it's truly an indicator of our heart's position, or how we think and we feel about others, because it's a value system in the world. And so do you have someone who's stingy? Do you have someone who is who thefts money? You find out someone who gets their money in an unscrupulous way. You want to be attentive to those indicators, because that is an indicator of the heart. A lot of people sometimes who do unscrupulous things with money don't think anything of it. They think, I'm caring for myself, taking care of me and mine. But what that really indicates is a selfishness. And if they're willing to do that to take care of them and theirs, what if you ever get on their bad side? How will they slight you? How will they mistreat you, or ice out anybody who they deem not a part of their team or squad or whatever? You don't want to deal with someone who has one of those crazy money personalities. So you want to be attentive to how they are with money. 4, you want to pick someone who is complementary to you. And what I mean by that is complementary and lifestyle. There are several things that you need to kind of go through with this person. You need to talk through, this is where I stand. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think of this? How do you think of this? How do you look at this? Tell me more about, your experience with this. You want to ask these questions, and these are the questions you want to ask about. You want to make sure you have a conversation with them about children. Whether you have children, whether you don't have children, whether you aspire to have children, whether you want to adopt, you want to go through in vitro fertilization, it doesn't matter. You need to have a conversation with your potential man or someone you're qualifying as a marriage partner. You want to have a conversation with them about children. Children are a deal breaker for a lot of people now. Some women, we think, hey, I met this guy, I'm really feeling him, he really feels me, but he doesn't want children, and I can't wait to be a mom. You know what? He loves me, he loves my cooking, he loves my love. His mind will change, and his mind won't change. And so you really need to be clear about that, and you need to be honest with yourself when that person gives you an honest response. You want to make sure that you have a complementary lifestyle, that your desires for the lifestyle you want to live align when it comes to children. The second thing in a complementary lifestyle, you want to make sure you're looking at your faith. Now, in our generation, millennial generation, Generation Z, there are a lot of interfaith relationships. When I was growing up in the 99s, in the 2000s, I always say that, so corny, but whatever. There were some interfaith relationships. Okay, so my camera died. Okay. To give you a personal example is I grew up in a Christian household. However, my parents had a somewhat interfaith marriage. My dad was a cultural Muslim and my mother was a devout Christian. My father did not mind my mother raising us in the Christian faith. He fully supported it. He came to church sometimes and we would have different functions, and that was our lifestyle and it was cool in our household. But if you are a devout Mormon and the person you want to be with is a devout, I don't know, something else, then you're likely going to have conflicting points of view, conflicting ways of doing life, conflicting understandings of your faith, and you don't want to have those situations in your marriage. So it's very important that when you're picking a partner, you're very clear about where their faith is and how those faith values align or differ, and where you all stand on making sure that you're on the same page with all of that. So one of the third things you want to look at when picking a partner who's going to be complementary is lifestyle. So I'm not talking about money per se. I'm talking about if you're someone who wants to live in the big city forever and ever, and your partner is someone who really wants to move out to the country, buy a ranch and start a farm, then you're gonna have some issues. Now, a lot of times opposites attract. So, you know, someone who wants to live in the big city is likely gonna partner up with someone who wants to be in the big country. And you're able to kind of negotiate those differences in a long-term committed relationship. But if your person is like, no, I'm trying to find a wife, like if you meet someone in Brooklyn, New York, and this guy's like, no, I'm trying to find a wife and move her down to Dallas, Texas, I got a ranch ready and all this stuff, and you're like, hold up, I'm trying to raise my kids up here in a brownstone, I'm in the middle of purchasing a condo, this is it for me, then you have an issue, and likely it's not going to go well for the two of you, just because you have differing opinions and desires for the lifestyle. So it's very important that you have complementary desires for children, for your faith, and for your lifestyle. The fifth thing you want to look for when picking a good, great, wonderful man is mentorship. I think it's a terrible thing to have a man who is a lone wolf. And what I mean by that is a man who has nobody who he is accountable to, no one who he talks to, who he's in relationship with, no one who can pull his coattails, no one who can like joke with him about things, and he just has no friends, no accountability, no one he looks up to, no one checking on him, and he doesn't have any of those people who are males. That's a big red flag for me, and I think it should be a big red flag if you are dating someone. Men make other men. I know there are a lot of single women who are raising young sons, and you all are amazing. You're beautiful, you're strong, you're intelligent, and you are raising some amazing young men. But even with that, a man makes men. There truly is a man code, just like there's a woman code. Women who are carrying children understand other women who are carrying children. Women who've lost children understand women who have lost children. There is a code of womanhood and there's a code of manhood, and men make other men by that code. And so men who don't have that system of accountability or don't have those types of relationships in their life, all they got is you, and that can become very stressful because you become the end all and be all for their emotional unloading, for their everything, and it's not healthy and it's not good, okay? So you want to make sure that they're not a lone wolf, and you want to make sure they have healthy male relationships in their life. And these male relationships can be their father, they can be their brothers, they could be their friends, they could be co-workers, their pastor, maybe they're in a men's group, maybe they go to AA, I don't know, whatever it is, they have some healthy, upstanding, consistent system of accountability in their life. And if they don't, ask them about it. Ask them what's up with that, where that's at in your life, and let them explain it to you. You know, maybe there's some reason, you know, legit reason for why they don't have that in their life, or maybe they don't have one and you have something to consider about that. Now you get to say, I don't know if that's what I want, someone who is not accountable to no one but me. I don't know. So definitely want to look for that. And lastly, the thing you want to find how you want to pick a man is you want to make sure he's co-signed. And what I mean by that is you want to make sure that you bring this person around your family and friends who love you the most, the best. You know why? Because your family and friends, they know you. They know your idiosyncrasies. They know your unique qualities. They know how your personality flips a little when you da-da-da or this or that happens. And they are going to be able to kind of analyze a person for you because they know you so well. Now, if you have a family full of haters or a family full of unhealthy, negative people, then maybe those are not the family that you take your potential mate to. You want to take them to the healthy friendships that you have, the healthy, maybe mentorship relationships that you have, healthy people who know you. That's who you take them to. You want that cosign. It matters. Forget what our culture and our generation says. A cosign matters. They're also going to be able to analyze this individual and maybe pick up on some little traits that you were unaware of, but that you never noticed, because they're objective. You know, they don't have all the love hormones and the in-love feelings rushing through their body the way that you do. And so they're going to be way more objective and say, girl, that was a little crazy. Tell me more about that. And be clear about it, or question him in person and find out more about them. Okay? So there you have it. That is how you pick a good man. Listen, if you like this video, I need you to go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know what piece of advice really stood out the most to you. What's some information that you would add in your life? And then also come ahead and join the Celebration Nation, okay? Subscribe, turn on that notification bell, do all the things, okay? Do all the things, because that way when I put out more videos, especially videos that you recommend to me and say, Tanine, talk about this, do this, then you'll be the first to know that it's up and it's out here for you, okay? So do that, and I love you. God bless you. I'll see you later.